Hey guys, and welcome to the Lazy Lemon Creations podcast. My name is Lindsay. You can find me on Instagram as Lazy Lemon Creations, and you can find me on Ravelry as Lazy Lemon. This is my podcast all about my knitting, crochet, cross stitch, diamond painting, any sort of crafty thing that I get into, with some life and reading and watching thrown in there as well. Today it is about 75% knitting and 25% crochet, so we will jump right in. I live in the heart of the New River Valley with my husband and our 2 kids. My husband just got up and got out the door for work. It is currently 6:52 in the morning, so I decided that I would take a shower this morning and get this podcast raring to go early. It is Saturday, June, I almost said November, Lord have mercy. It is Saturday, June 20th, 2026, and let's jump into it. So, first off, I need a drink this morning. Get your coffee, get your water, get whatever you need to. I have ran out of creamer for my coffee, so an Alani it is, first thing in the morning. Cheers. All right. Let's jump in. So I have just gotten back from a trip, and I thought that was going to mean I would have so much to show you guys. I do not. I don't have that much to show you guys, and that's okay. So we're going to jump into last week's whips that are still whips this week. So let's actually start with a crochet because it's the closest to being finished. I was working on the Lion Brand ice cream scoop in the cookies and cream colorway, and I was working it up into a granny square. Then it was color pulling and I really didn't like it at all. So then I decided, you know what? Okay, fine. We're not going to do a color pulling with that. Let's then change it into a granny stripe blanket. So then I cast it on. It's actually pretty big. It would fit. It would be a blanket for me. So then I cast it on. I don't even remember how much I chained and started the granny stripe blanket. And something about this yarn just doesn't want to be a blanket right now. It's being ugly. I don't know. And so I decided that I wasn't going to deal with that headache with this Lion Brand yarn. There's nothing wrong with it. I have made plenty of blankets with this exact yarn, not the cookies and cream, but with the limoncello colorway and others, the Tutti Frutti colorway. Like, I know the yarn works up into a beautiful baby blanket, but for some reason this one just is not ready to be a blanket. So I have set this to the side and decided it is not worth that headache. And while I was on my beach trip last week, I had decided to go to Michael's and just pick up some solid gray yarn. And instead I made well, I've got it folded into a triangle, so you really can't see. But, well, that's still folded into a triangle. Haha! There we go! I decided to do just a solid gray granny blanket. Solid gray. Easy. So easy to do this. And, I don't know what happened to my label of yarn. I literally just got 2 of these. These are not Hank's skeins. Yes, skeins. I got 2 of the skeins to make the blanket, and I am got some things moving back there and it's scaring me. I have made it to this point into the blanket. I don't know if it's going to show you that. And then I just have to go all the way to this corner. And then from this corner, I have to go back to the starting point. And then I'm done. Because I think this blanket is a great size for a new baby. And so I'm not going to make it overly large. And I mean, that's folded into fourths for this blanket. So yeah, I'm loving this. I am crocheting it using my, oh, I don't know that that's going to show up at all. My Furls crochet hook. It's my H, which is a 5mm hook. And yeah, I'm just crocheting with it. Only thing I don't like is when my ring will hit that, which doesn't happen very often once I actually have it in my hand. But like if I pick up, put down, that bothers me. But that's just a me thing. But yeah, that blanket is what I worked on the most during our trip. So all the socks that I was working on didn't get a lot of progress. So let's show you that. Now, the first sock that I have, well, the one that's closest to me, is living in my Happy Little Yarn pumpkin spice latte bag. I love this thing. The orange, the coffee. I need to get more coffee creamer. Before we went on our trip, we cleaned out our fridge and everything like that. And since being back, I haven't gone and bought all the comfort items in the house. I've bought some necessities like milk, cereal, bread, eggs, but like coffee creamer I didn't buy for some reason. So I definitely need to get on that. But I have the first sock done in this Knit Picks Felici colorway that I don't know the name of. But I love it. It's like a sunset. It might be called sunset. I don't know. But I love this. It's the first sock that's done. And then I actually have the second sock mostly done. Let's see here. Yeah, I am like less than 5 rows away before I cast on the toe to the second sock that I have here. I accidentally left this sock at home, so the last time you saw the pair, I would have just been past the heel, I think, maybe, possibly. I don't know. I don't remember where I was on the last episode. But then I have knit all of the foot since then. A part of me wants to say that I was just starting the heel. That's what I want to say, is where I was at with this sock. Because I have the stitch markers on the first sock, but then I also have stitch markers on the second sock because I left it. So where I truly was is a mystery. But yes, this sock is almost done and it is ready for the toe. And that will be a pair done here in the month of June. And I am knitting them on ChiaoGoo red lace that's just floppy today. Size 1.5, which is a 2.5mm needle. And I do magic loop for my socks for everything. So that is living there. And since I'm so close to the toe, I will probably finish those by the next episode. I would like to say I would finish those today, but let's be honest. Any deadline I give myself extended by 2 days. So whoopsie. Then the next 2 socks that I have are in my bags from Mountain State Stitches. This is my pumpkin bag. Again, if you can't tell, fall is my favorite season, orange is my favorite color. So, and this inside fabric, I have not had enough of my energy drink today. Oh, the kids are awake. The inside fabric is this nice, beautiful gingham plaid. Beautiful, beautiful. I don't remember where I was on this pair of socks either, so let's just show you that I finished the toe on the first sock. All done. Nice, neat, crisp, clean. You know what? It'd be really nice if I just had a whole bunch of progress keepers that I could just attach to my projects in order to keep up with where I'm at on the project. I do. I have tons of progress keepers. Why I don't add them to my projects, I don't know. They're just part of the collection. So we're going to add one now because otherwise I will forget. Again, this one though is ready for the heel. I've got my 30 rows done. So we're going to add this little progress keeper about 2 rows below where I'm currently on, so I don't get it tangled into the heel flap and gusset stitches. And this little, he's a snowman. Can he show up? He can. He is just a nice shiny snowman on acrylic. Ooh, he looks really good against the black. He is from Twin Mountain Handcrafts. So he's going to live here on this project, and he's going to help me keep track this time because I have them. I should use them. But yes, the first sock is done. The second one is a whip. I do have the label for this one. And it is the Felici from Knit Picks in the Bayou colorway, or Bowie colorway, sorry. And for Knit Picks Felici, I really hope that they come out with more Felici this year so I can get some more. But, no, it is Bayou. What was I going to say about this Felici? Oh yeah, with my Felici socks, the heels, toes, and cuffs are knit with a Nomad Bear yarn, and the rest of the sock is knit using the self-striping. So that is another whip that is in the bag to be set aside. I am at the perfect stopping point of doing the heel flap and gusset that I always delay doing, even though it only takes me like an hour and 10 minutes, but I delay it all the time. Alright, next up, I have this project in another Mountain State Stitches bag. It is my Christmas bag. I don't know what those flowers are. I see some holly berries in there. That's about all I know. But anyway, this one has a beautiful red fabric on the inside, and it looks shadowed because it is. Like, it's not just a solid red, it's got some depth to it. But in here, I have, and it is June 20th, so I'm showing the whole thing now. I have my Freckled Whimsy Christmassy Yarn Club Year 2. And this is the June colorway. And this is, it's called, I don't know, that's gonna show up. It's called Elf Squad. This one's a 12-row repeat, when the ones in the past have been a 6-row repeat. So far I have the cake all caked up, super pretty. Reds and greens galore. And in the sock so far, I am also ready for the heel on this sock. So I did my 20-row cuff of 2x2 knit ribbing. Then I did a 30-row leg. Again, I just started with the yarn at the easiest spot, which was right at a color change. And so the first row and the cuff are the same color, and then it goes right into the striping, and it looks like every other stripe is going to be that Grinch green. So with this, it's called Elf Squad, and I don't think I have an elf stitch marker, so I can do a snowman or a Christmas tree or a Santa, and I'm leaning towards a Christmas tree. So we're going to take a progress keeper off. Kids are awake. We're going to add it to the sock, and there we go. There is another little progress keeper from Twin Mountain Handcrafts, just the littlest Christmas tree, also sparkles. And yeah, I realize it's June and I'm using Christmas stitch markers, and I don't care, I'm happy. So this is the first sock. I do not have the second one started. I think I had 2 or 3 rows of the cuff started on that sock before we went on vacation. So yeah, I did not get a lot of work on that done this past week, but that's okay. I knit and crochet when I can knit and crochet. So that is it for all of the projects that I have been working on. And so now we can talk about life and what this past 2 weeks have looked like. So I did not podcast last week because we were gone. We were in Florida. and we went on a retreat for our son who has leukemia. The retreat was absolutely amazing. We've gotten to meet so many other families who are going through the exact same journey. Everyone there is a family affected by cancer, childhood cancer. Some of it's leukemia, some of it's brain tumors, some of it is bone cancer. So everyone there had been affected by childhood cancer. So we got to be a little tight-knit community of everybody going through the exact same misery that childhood cancer brings to a family. But it was very nice because we were all in the same water, but we're all in our own different boats. One of those things of, you know, people were in different phases of treatment. Some people were done with treatment, and so some people were still in the thick of it like we are. And it was just nice to get to talk to other families and have that common ground underneath us so that we could all jump forth and get deeper into the conversations, because a lot of the time when you're talking to someone and you're just like, oh yeah, my son has cancer, it then starts that whole story. And so for them, it was, we got to talk about the story, but we got to go deeper into it that we don't typically get to go with people, because typically the conversation stops when cancer is mentioned. So that was so therapeutic. Me and my husband absolutely loved it. It was the best trip that we have ever taken, and it was in the most beautiful beach resort in Florida. The kids had the best time in the world. Emrys got to jump into a swimming pool 50 million times. He spent every free moment that he could in a swimming pool there, and then also at the beach. We got to go to the beach, crystal clear waters, beautiful sand. We got to go crab hunting for a crab at night. We got to build sandcastles. We got to have picnics on the beach. We literally got to do it all. We even got henna tattoos. Me and my daughter got henna tattoos. It was phenomenal. We had a blast. So that was last week. We were gone, and I would do it again in a heartbeat. I would go back for this retreat immediately. Then we came home and we had about a day of recuperating, and then I got a phone call that my mom had a heart attack. She's home now, but she had to have surgery on Tuesday, this past Tuesday, the 16th. She had to have a stent put in and stuff like that. So I literally came home and I unpacked my suitcase and everything, and we had our one day to recuperate there on Monday, and then I had to turn right back around on Tuesday and drive halfway to, well, I had to drive about 4 hours into Tennessee, so it was pretty far. And spent 2 days there getting everything situated. So yeah, she's home now, and hopefully with diet, exercise, lifestyle changes, things of that sort, and the right medications and the grace of God and the doctors, we're going to be able to get her better and on the right path for longevity. So extra prayers for that would be greatly appreciated, because I was not anticipating having a second smaller trip, much more stressful, right after the big trip. So extra prayers would be lovely. Then we have been just getting back into the order of being at home, and it was so nice because on the retreat we didn't have to plan a meal, didn't have to cook a meal, didn't have to buy groceries for the meal, didn't have to do our laundry, didn't have to make our bed, any of that. And so we were very spoiled on this trip, so much so that coming back was a little hard. It was definitely something we didn't want to do. Yeah, now back to laundry, dishes, groceries, bed making, sweeping, mopping, all of the things that come with being at home. So that's been not as fun as the vacation, but it's life. So it's normal. And then reading and watching, I am still doing my tandem read of Empire Storms and Tower of Dawn. I'm about halfway through both of those now. I did get more reading time than I did crafting time on the trip. And then, yeah, watching, I've not been watching any TV. Just with as much traveling and stuff like that that's been going on, I have been watching podcasts here and there. I've watched Kay of the Crazy Sock Lady, Lisa 72 Stitches, and then I'm watching the Fantasy Fangirls, and that's it. Those three, the past 2 weeks, are the only things that I have kept up with because everything else takes too long to get into. So, I believe that is going to wrap up this episode. Like I said, I have the crochet blanket, the 3 socks. I'm slowly working on all of them, but now that I'm back home, hopefully I can have some FOs by our next episode. Like I said, extra prayers are always welcome and appreciated. I hope that you guys are having a blessed summer, and I will see y'all next week. Bye.